Today I am cooking just what Andy calls a garden supper, and I am making fried potatoes. They're not out of the garden, they're from the store. Green beans, which are from out of the garden, not our garden. We don't have a garden this year. We just grew some tomatoes, but they are fresh from Rita Wool's garden, and squash, which is fresh from Elaine at Church's garden. And I'm gonna slice up some cucumbers, make some cornbread, maybe fry a little bacon. So I'm gonna show you how I make my cornbread. I don't follow a recipe, so this is just how what I do. I have my iron skillet, which I bake it in iron skillet. That's seasoned really well already. I have it in the oven, preheating. As I get my oven hot, I have oil in there to get good and hot. Usually pour too much in there, and then I just have to pour it back into a cup and then pour it back in the bottle, or use it if I'm frying something, so it's not a big deal. But this is how I make my cornbread. So I have my mixing bowl, and I poured probably, I'm gonna say, probably 2 cups of cornmeal, self-rising cornmeal. Probably 2 cups, somewhere around in there. A little canister, I just took a little bit. And to that, I'm going to be adding some self-rising flour. Now, Andy does not like big fluffy cornbread. I do, and since I'm the cook, I make it how I make it. Mama never did make big fluffy cornbread either. Mom's has never really been fluffy. I don't know where I got this, but this is how I make it. I like it fluffy. So this is a big old serving spoon. I'm going to put 1, 2, 3 big scoops of that in there. And then I'm going to stir it around. Get it all mixed up there together. And I'm going to just make some milk. If I had buttermilk, which I do have just a little bit, my camera is down a little low, but that's okay. If I had buttermilk, see if I can do this. This looks better. There we go. I would use that as my milk in here, but I just have it just a little bit in here, and Andy loves to eat his cornbread and buttermilk, the leftover cornbread, so I'm gonna just use regular or skim milk. That's what we do, skim milk. So I'm gonna just pour milk in here until I don't measure, and I should, I guess, so people would. But this is not enough. You can see it's too there, so I'm gonna pour some more. Just kind of, I'll show you to pour until you get the consistency that we need. And to this, I'm gonna add an egg. Not everybody puts an egg in there. I like an egg. Of course, I like mine fluffy, more cake-like, I guess you would call it. So I'm gonna add an egg. And honestly, it's a good idea to break your egg in something. I think I'll use this before you break it in the final product, because if it happens to have blood in it, or you drop a shell, then you have to try to fish it out, or it's just easier to just crack it first. And cup, something, easy. And I like to go ahead and kind of mix it up so the yolk is already broke, and that way you can just incorporate it into your cornbread a little easier. And this was a cup that had some bacon grease that I had saved, that I added to my green beans. I had my green beans broke. They are in my Instant Pot pressure cooker. um, with a little bacon grease and some seasoned salt. And what little bit of bacon grease got mixed with these eggs sure won't hurt my cornbread. It's also a good idea to kind of get your cornbread all mixed up good, and then let it sit for just a little bit before it starts rising. I think that helps it too, fluffier. Some people add some milk, not all water, but not all milk, but add some water to their cornbread. I don't do that. I just use all milk. That's just how I do. I'm just sharing how I do things on here. Okay. So I have mixed it up, and it is this consistency, kind of like a little thick pancake batter. So if you think about pancake batter, and I'm going to let this sit here just a minute because I'm not done adding. I'm going to add some oil to this. So when my skillet is ready, all hot and ready to go, then I'm going to pour some of the oil and my oil cornbread, mix that all up, and then pop it into the oven. I'm back about 425, somewhere around in there, till it's nice and golden on top. And if you've got a good skillet that is seasoned well, it should slide out. And I know I've got too much oil in this mug. It should just slide out really good on you, or for you. And I'm going to pour some oil in here so you can kind of watch. You hear that sizzle? That means it's good and hot, ready to go. Some people put a little bit of meal in the bottom of their skillet. I'm going to leave just a little bit of oil in there to help it keep it from sticking. I've got my skillet good and seasoned, and I don't really have much trouble with that, so I don't have to deal with the full with that. Now you can see that it's a little bit looser. It's loosened up a little bit more since I've added the oil, and it's ready to go into my pan. I have left just a little enough to coat the bottom of my skillet, and you heard it sizzle. You know that it is good and hot. I'm just going to make sure that it's covered. Oven's ready for it to go. So I'm going to just pour that in there. Wouldn't have hurt it to have been a little bit hotter, but it'll be okay. That helps form that crust on the outside of your cornbread. Have a nice, pretty golden brown. Not really golden brown. It's sort of a darker color than golden brown, but anyway. If you are using like all-purpose flour or cornmeal that is not self-rising, of course you're going to need to add your salt and baking powder and or whatever, soda, whatever it is that you add. I'm not sure. I can't remember. I always just buy self-rising everything unless I'm making bread. So that's my cornbread, and it looks like this in my, see it right there in my pan. There it is. And it's going to go into the oven and cook. And you'll see a little bit of a ring of oil just all around the edges of the cornbread, and that is what you want because we left some oil, remember, in our pan to help it keep from sticking. And that's how we're doing. Now my green beans, I don't know what kind they are, but I broke them. I kind of talked about this a while ago and I forgot. I didn't get back to it, but I broke my green beans, put them in my Instant Pot, put water just to cover the top of it. I put maybe 2 tablespoons of bacon grease, something like that. If you don't have bacon grease, you could use some olive oil, or if I have used some butter. You need a little something to season it. country ham, if you have some country ham pieces, that's good stuff. Throw that in there. If you do use country ham or some salt in me like that, of course you want to watch how much salt you add to your green beans when you're seasoning them, because country ham is very salty and it will transfer that salt over to your beans. So I put them in there. I'm going to pressure them for about 30 minutes. And when I'm done, I'm going to take my lid off and just make sure that they're good and tender. These that I have today are big fat green beans. Rita had told Mom what the name of them is. It's some name of like a man's name, bean, I don't know. But she couldn't remember what it was. But anyway, that's what we're doing. We're pressuring those. I'm going to just get my nonstick skillet hot, good coating on the bottom of them. I'm going to use my mandolin to slice my potatoes thin. I like thin sliced potatoes. And they fry and they let them get good and crunchy and crispy on the bottom before you flip them over. And, oh, green tomatoes. I think I'm going to fix some green tomatoes too. And some squash. But, that's all the recording I'm going to do for today, because Andy will be home in just a few minutes and I feel really weird talking to the camera when somebody else is here. So maybe I'll get braver later and be able to record for you guys with somebody else in the house or in the room. So, bye. Love you guys. Remember, Mimi, Mama loves you the mostest.